Hi, Dr. Alva Edwards from HealingChildhoodLoss.com, and I'm in the middle of a series of each week talking about one of the ways that you can lose a parent when you were a child. And today, the way is divorce. Not everyone whose parents get a divorce lost that parent. I've had patients and other people I've known who told me both the people, the mother and the father, their number one priority was the children, and that they remained friends. And even when they both remarry, sometimes, get together at holidays, both couples, along with their children. I mean, that's fabulous. I also know people who have used their children volleying back and forth, using it to hurt the other person, but in the meantime, the child gets hurt. And then, of course, there are people I've talked to who they said their parents got divorced and they never saw the other parent again. And so it can be devastating life changes for people. And it doesn't have to be. Some people have what I consider a light case of difficulty. Oftentimes what the child thinks is, it was their fault. What did I do? And the child, as you know, did nothing. A child cannot cause people to get divorced. But that's how the child thinks. Even when you say, hey, listen, you didn't have anything to do with this. Now, I do think that enough conversation will certainly help the child not get stuck in that whole thought of, what did I do to cause this? Y'all were happy before I came along, and then you're not happy now. And wondering why they're not enough to keep the parents together. All kinds of issues, whatever the personal issue is with the mother and father. Sometimes the child knows too much. Sometimes the child doesn't know enough. All in all, I feel that secrets are dangerous, but that, there is a time and a place, and the time is not always when a child is small. And I know people who will never talk bad about the other person, and I know people who say what they want to. All of these things have to be worked out, not only for the child's sake, but we're also talking about for the parents, for the mother or father's sake. So divorce can sometimes be so difficult, and the reason is because of the courts. You might think that everything that goes through court is fair. It's not. And oftentimes it's not fair to the children. One of the books that I read talked about children who survived divorce. The person who was a counselor for that child then did a retrospective 25 years later, and she said the number one thing that children will hate their parents for is that they didn't let them grow up appropriately. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes if the children are small, when the court made their decision of how much time they spend or when they spend time with this parent or that parent, and then as they grow up and children become more social and they have their friends and important friends, and they have school projects and things like that. And if the parents aren't willing to bend, like, no, it is my weekend and you are coming to my house for my weekend, and it's all the way across town from the school they go to and the friends they have and the people they need to work projects with, she reported that that is the one thing that children will really hold against their parents. So if you are a product of divorce, or if you are a parent in divorce, think about that. Read that book and think of the many ways that it will affect the child. Now, I'm not one to say, stay in the marriage at any cost. No. Everyone has to make their own decision. But in making that decision, please let the children be a very high priority. I will see you next week.